New Zealand. Beautiful, proud. Roaring glaciers, stunning vistas, tracks and trails to make your jaw drop. To sum it all up, a flag. A flag so iconic to the world that it unmistakably screams the values and virtues of the motherland, Aotearoa, New Zealand. Sorry, what? That's the Australian flag. Are you sure? Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me fix that for you. And there we go. Majestic in its beauty, New Zealand stands. It's happened again. I can't be the only one sick and tired of our flag being a simplified version of the Aussie flag. It's an insult to the country. Someone needs to take a stand. And that person will be me.
Thanks, library. This is the news.
The story starts in the build-up to the New Zealand 2014 election with the Honourable Sir John Key, current Prime Minister. Mr. Key is probably best known on the international stage for the pigtail thing.
A very unusual story breaking here this morning involves the Prime Minister, a ponytail and some Pinot Noir.
That is the single greatest news tease I've ever heard.
And from proving that in a three-way, someone is always left out. But as part of this election, Key announced that if elected, he would set up a referendum to change the national flag of New Zealand. Now, this was a bit of a bold call, primarily because no one cared. Let's take a look at the existing public opinion for a flag change, sponsored by Wikipedia's strong table game. Here we go. That's a no, another no, neutral, okay, another no. It looks like New Zealand was pretty entrenched in the no camp for changing the flag. Nevertheless, John Boy made some promises, and sure enough, he was re-elected as Prime Minister. So he begins the referendums. A referendum is essentially asking the public to vote on a question. However, this would be binding, that is, the result becomes law. In this case, there were two questions being posed. Firstly, what is the best alternative flag? Secondly, should New Zealand adopt that alternative flag? Some smarter heads tried to slow Key's role by trying to ask some simple questions, like, hey, does New Zealand actually want a flag change in the first place? Even future Prime Minister DJ Cindy tried adding a clause that said if the people of New Zealand didn't come out to participate in the first round, they wouldn't go ahead with the second. But this too was shot down. So the brakes were off and it was full steam ahead. The process begins by assembling the team, a crack party of the best and brightest representing the diverse interests of the country. We've got scholars, athletes, counsellors, business people, personalities, and even a representative from the military. The role of this task force? To stoke the fires of the New Zealand public, raise interest and engage in the public discourse, making sure the people of New Zealand could make their passionate voices heard. Oh, that's right, nobody cared. Interest was so low that it was reported in Christchurch, New Zealand's second most populated city, 10 people showed up to the first open forum. Of a population of about 362,000, that's a 0.003% attendance rate. Not a great showing. So the panel tried their best to engage, but it wasn't landing. But the task force did have a secondary role as well, to cull submissions to create a shortlist of the best possible flag designs. Hang on, submissions? Yes, it seemed anyone could pitch flag ideas, and this is where 100% of public interest was made in the flag change. Here are a few highlights from these submissions. Ahem. The pentagram of New Zealand. The pink colour represents the people of New Zealand. The turquoise colour represents the water in and around New Zealand. The green colour represents the land of New Zealand. The pentagram represents the stars of New Zealand. Sheep and hokey pokey. This design represents all of New Zealand because we have a lot of sheep and love hokey pokey ice cream. I even included the blue and red to keep all of you naysayers happy. Kiwi as, bro. Te pepe. That feel when our eyes gaze upon the flightless and majestic rare kiwi bird is a classic icon of New Zealand's deep relationship with our ancestors, their spirit, land and culture. Te pepe tamariki. Te papa Aotearoa. A QR code that takes you to the New Zealand government website, later revised by the artist to meet the aesthetic requirements. New Zealand Aotearoa has a long tradition of displaying identity and our stories through tuku panels. And what better way of carrying this forward into the digital age than with an embedded code? And of course, the nationally beloved laser kiwi. The laser beam projects a powerful image of New Zealand. I believe my design is so powerful, it does not need to be discussed. Yeah, we can't have any of those.
Okay, that was rude. Rude? I'll show you rude. Your tablet is still synced to your phone. Please tell me that is not your penis.
Choice of flag. Tragically, none of these would make it to the top 40 as selected by committee. Most followed a similar theme: Southern Cross, corus, ferns, and the blue, black, and red on the current flag. By the 1st of September 2015, these had been narrowed down to the top 5 contenders, and get on the edge of your seat for these phenomenal names. We've got Silver Fern, black and white; Silver Fern, red, white, and blue; Silver Fern, black, white, and blue; Koru, black; and the underdog themselves, Red Peak.
What we're going to do is we're going to get all 5 flag designs and we're going to stitch them together to make one giant shame blanket.
Red Peak was the wild card of the group. Originally, it didn't make it to the shortlist, but a group of people raised such a stink about it online that they bullied the government into putting it on the shortlist. The public was given just over a month to discuss the options. Then it was time to vote for the best of the bunch. In the 3 weeks from the 20th of November to the 11th of December 2015, the people got out and voted in round 1. Which design would be the winner? Well, it took 4 tries to get a majority. Koru got knocked out first, then black and white, then Red Peak, and then it was head to head. 2 designs left. Which colour scheme would get the majority? What would New Zealand choose? Well, with barely 1% more people voting for it, they had decided on the black, white, and blue, 50.6% of the vote compared to 49.4%. What's fantastic, though, is that DJ Cindy's prophecy had come true. Less than half of the eligible voting population voted in this referendum. The other half of the country really still didn't care. The following year, between the 3rd and the 24th of March, came the final vote. Does New Zealand change to the new flag? And yeah, you know where this is going. The country says no. This time, 2/3 of the country came out to vote and ultimately say no thanks. But it was a lot closer than you might expect. Only 57% of people voted in favour of sticking with the current flag, meaning there was a majority against a flag change, but not nearly as much of a landslide as it was looking like. Old John Boy said he was disappointed in the result, but accepted the nation's choice. He'd go on to retire as Prime Minister later that year in December 2016. It'd be easy to paint the man as the villain of the piece, out of touch with the public and spending $25 million to get an answer everyone knew, but I don't think that's the case. Hearing him speak on the topic was surprisingly engaging, and hearing him discuss a changing national identity was perhaps the most compelling reason in favour of a flag change. Also, his son Max Key challenged now Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern to a DJ battle. It's not relevant at all to the flag change, but if this got televised as pay-per-view, the country could probably earn back that 25 mil. That ends the tale of the New Zealand flag for now, but who knows? This may have laid the groundwork for a future change. I, for one, look forward to the day when Kiwis will be singing praises of the nation underneath the powerful gaze of the laser Kiwi. Lamp salad. Yummy, yummy.